Welcome back. I'm here with Robert Gignac, author of Rich is a State of Mind. Robert, I really, when you speak, you're speaking from the heart. Is this something that you see that you can make change in the Canadian economics? Do you feel that with this spreading the word of good sound financial advice and everything, do you feel like there's some change that you can impact?
I'm certainly hoping there is on two sides. One, I want Canadians to have a better financial outcome and do better things with their money. Two, I hope that they would consider doing that with a financial professional. Because at the end of the day, much like some of the clients who came in the example I offered earlier, we're busy. And at the end of the day, even myself, I wrote a best-selling book on personal finance. I'm university educated. I'm just not all that interested in this. I'm interested. I'm not that interested. Why? Because I got stuff to do, right? I married, relationship with my wife, relationship with my son. There's things that I want to do that have nothing to do with money. But what I've learned, I think, through the process, Jamie, is that if you build the solid foundation for a successful financial life, and you do that early, then you can go on and do all of the other interesting stuff. And the foundation that we've set will help take care of itself on an ongoing basis. Sure, I check in with my advisor on a regular basis. Do I call them every week? No. Do I call them every month? No. Do I look every day? What am I worth today? What am I worth today? What am I worth today? No. And the book talks about that's why one of the worst things you can do is get distracted by all of the noise and the media and everything else that's going on. So if I can have a little bit of a positive impact on Canadians, get them to understand personal finance isn't that complex. It's not scary. There's some good basic things you need to do. Here's why you should consider working with an advisor. And for advisors, get their clients and prospects motivated or inspired, if that's the right word, to build that relationship. Then to me, it's a win-win all the way around.
Right. Excellent. Your personal favorite. Now, I know everyone's going to have something different, but what's your personal favorite financial instruments, something that you would implement in your own life and that you feel that maybe not everyone, but most people should have some of this or some of that? What would you say those products or those services might be?
Well, I guess I'm at a point in my life where I've got a little bit of everything, right? Do I have an RSP? Yes. Do I have a TFSA? Yes. Do I have an RESP? Not anymore, because David's doing his master's program at university, and that was eliminated before he ever got to the master's program, but it served a great purpose along that way. Do I have critical illness insurance? Yes. Do I have disability insurance? Yes. Do I have life insurance? Yes. And so I don't know if there's a favorite piece to it. I think if there's a favorite part of all this, Jamie, it comes from the fact that when we look at the noise in the media and economics and whether or not an auto plant shutting down or retailers going out of business, kind of on an ongoing basis, am I concerned for the economics of the North American economy? Sure I am. We all are. But at the end of the day, I think what I've been able to create for myself, my family, and I don't mean just me, it's a family effort, right? This isn't something that one person in a relationship does. It needs to be a team between you and your partner, if you've got one, is that we've got a vision for the future for ourselves. We know where it is we'd like to go, and we have options available to us. Does that mean if something went horribly off the rails 8 years from now, that life would be over? No. What happens is you change according to the plan. You build a plan, life happens, you go to plan B. Life happens, you go to plan C. But if you don't ever have a plan, that's where, to me, the real value is in having the financial plan. Because you don't do it, you don't chisel it onto a granite tablet in stone like we did 2,000 years ago and go, this is my plan, I can't change the plan. No. Life happens, plans change. That doesn't mean I've always had the same advisor. I've had a couple of advisors and been very fortunate. Why? Because I went as far as I could with that advisor. My needs changed, and I found a different advisor. with the consent of the first advisor, went, great, you need to go in a different direction. Now, that's not what I do, right? So I did that. And I think that's what we as Canadians need to understand, and what I hope the clients of your advisors understand. You're not stuck with that advisor forever. You're not stuck with that plan forever. Be flexible and be willing to change, but look far enough ahead so that you can see where you're going.
Yeah, fantastic. You've obviously set out with a plan when you decided to write this book to help Canadians out there. What's your goal? What is your goal with Rich as a State of Mind? Do you have other books in mind that you're going to be developing, or are you currently writing anything else? Or
well, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I've been getting a lot of feedback on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook over the last couple of days, because I took a snapshot of my desk with just covered in yellow legal pad papers full of pages of hand scribble of my own, because I am working on what will, I'd hesitate to call it a sequel, but you'll see it carry the characters from the first book forward a decade and find out, A, did they follow the plan from book one, or did they not follow the plan from book one? If they did, what becomes plan B? And if they didn't, how do we create plan C as part of that? It's probably going to be 6 to 8 months before I can ever pick it up and go, okay, it's right here.
Yeah.
But it's taken me a long time to get to that point, probably too long as an author. But it's finally there, and I'm pretty excited about starting to work again in terms of writing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I would say you're more than just an author. You're also an educator. You're a motivational speaker, even though maybe you didn't set out to do that, but you're definitely motivating to listen to. I never set out to that. There's, to me, and I don't know if it's just my own, mentality around it. There's something about the phrase motivational speaker, which doesn't, it's like rah, rah, rah. Yeah, sure.
And then what happens is 3 weeks later, you're sitting around with your friends and go like, I don't remember the guy's name from 3 weeks ago.
That's right.
So I don't know if people find what I do motivating, then I'm happy about that. So I guess somebody asked me once, what do you do? And I said, I'm in the edutainment business. And they went, what's that? I said, well, I educate, and I hope I do a little bit of that when I speak to groups like yours and other financial groups out there and at conferences. I want to educate. But I've also learned that if you can't entertain them a bit, if it's, and we've all sat through the dry university lecture on macroeconomics, so I don't want it to be that. But if all you are is entertaining with no education, then the message gets forgotten. If you can educate them along the way and they take away that one thing that said, that is the greatest idea I've ever heard, I'm going to do something with that, even if it's only one idea, then somehow I think I've been a success at whatever event that I've spoken at.
Wow, edutainment, I love that. Robert, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to having you at some of our events coming up. And again, if you're watching this and you want to get a copy of this book, the link's going to be down below. And again, appreciate all that you do to help the Canadian families out there, and I'm excited to continue to work with you, Robert.
It's been a pleasure to chat with you today, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Hey, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I have on my channel, stay tuned. We have so many more coming, but I want to make sure that you're in the know, that you know when they're coming. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell.